What is going on, everybody? This is Bit W Zan with the very mellow and low-tempoed Ichiban Nonsense podcast. And joining me today is a man who's taking his sex phone operator gig on the road, Gigolo Mez on the East Coast.
How's it going, everyone?
How's it going? There
Nice
he goes.
smooth voice.
Yep, the smooth voice is back. He's taking the action on the road. So you had quite a night, huh, Mez?
Yeah. it was a long night full of many potions.
Oh my goodness.
What a good callback. I like that one. Also joining us is a man who actually gives his Alexa a reason to laugh at him. Minister
Oh
Ian.
man. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for having
Did you hear about that? Like, that's something I was like, it's not even like a topic, but that's just something I saw. I was like, those like Alexa just laughing for no reason now.
That's
Like,
creepy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what comes to mind is creepiness.
It's like they're becoming sentient as we know, like getting like more and more smarter.
The robots are
Realizing-
laughing at us.
Yeah, realizing the freaking humans like our total mistakes and just laughing it up. And lastly, joining us is gonna be, of course, the woman who's probably also rumored to be in the upcoming Smash game, Secret Kitty.
What?
Smash Brothers. Did you not see the announcement?
Wait a minute.
No.
Oh my god, you guys are like,
Smash
You're
coming
not
to
in-
the Switch.
yeah, Smash is coming to the Switch. You guys are not in
Oh.
tune with the gaming news.
Well, I'm not in
No.
tune to the Switch news, to be honest. Is it the Switch doing that well? It's still a
Yeah.
lot.
Yes.
it is.
Oh man.
Switch is doing incredibly well.
And I feel like with this, like with Smash coming to it, it's gonna sell even more.
Do I
Yup.
get to be Kirby?
No, you can
No,
be
you gotta
Secret
be
Kitty.
Kitty.
Kitty. Me.
You
It's gonna be
Secret
like
Kitty,
Jigglypuff
yeah.
putting everyone to sleep.
Oh my god, yes. That's my ult.
So
Nap
yeah,
time.
that was like one of the first things like I was gonna talk about was like because like I saw it on Twitter where it was like everybody was going nuts. So like I scrolled through my feed and I saw that Nintendo, like they put out the like a little trailer, a little teaser trailer there. I'm assuming Mez, you saw it because we talked about it a little bit off the podcast.
Yeah.
So it was who was it then that showed up? Was it one of the Squid Kids or whatever?
It was the Squid Kids from Splatoon.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't play the last one, the Wii U one. Were they in that one, or are they new characters?
No, they're new characters.
Okay, so yeah, because like at first it looked like it was just gonna be like a new Splatoon game, because they were just showing like the two Squid Kids shooting ink at each other. And then they saw like the Smash Brothers logo in the eye, and then burning in the
Yeah.
sky.
And then you saw the angriest Mario you ever see in your life. Freaking Demon Mario was like burning up. I'm like, what is going? You got to see this
I'm
thing.
having
Like,
to look at
Shin
this,
Mario.
like if you can look it up, I wish I could like post it or whatever. Like you look it up, like you see like they're just like a silhouette of like the fire burning behind Mario, and like the screen is shaking, so he looks like he's just raging on or whatever. Demon Mario and shit. It looks totally crude. And then like they show like Link, but a lot of people saying that it's the Breath of the Wild Link, so that's why they're speculating it's a new Smash Brothers. Because I know there was a debate, right, whether it was Smash like an update to the Wii U one, or if it's just a completely different Smash game.
Yeah.
Like that's been the debate that a lot of people have been having online, and a lot of people just like, well, I'd rather just have Smash 4.5 is what they're calling it,
Like
which is just the Smash game that's already been out.
Yeah, using the same engine, adding more characters.
You're just adding more characters. Like keep the characters already in there and just add more characters.
Super Smash Bros. Arcade Edition.
Yeah, I'd buy it. I mean, that'd be awesome. You know, they just like release this with the same characters, just more DLC characters. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
And other people were like, no, we want a new Smash game, and like it's like Smash 5 would be, and people are just like, are you crazy? Like we're gonna be here. You're gonna have to be like worried about which characters made it, which characters didn't. Wouldn't it make more sense to have just the characters you liked in it, and then just add more characters? Like they polish it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's what
I don't know.
like Capcom's been doing, so and that seems to work for them with all the Street Fighters.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can see like I think in the background there was like a silhouette of some other characters and stuff like that. And people were just trying to like make out who those characters could be.
Yeah. I was looking at
It's
that.
like there
Like,
were
it's way
rumors.
too hard to try to tell.
Yeah, yeah. It's way too hard. They did that on purpose. Like as of right now, the only people we have is gonna be the Squid Kids and then Mario and Link.
Yeah. And I'm assuming
Team
like
Mario.
the regulars like Bowser, DK, Pikachu,
Yeah,
Kirby.
Kirby.
Yoshi, all of those guys.
Yep,
Oh,
it should be exciting. I know they say it's gonna be 2018, so we'll see when that all comes out.
Wait.
Because I would definitely pick it now.
Probably
Wait.
before Kingdom Hearts 3.
Do you guys
Um,
own
can
a
you
Switch?
please?
I don't.
I have a Switch.
I don't have one yet. I want to buy
I do.
one.
I do not either.
Yeah.
If they
Remember, I was
start
saying I play
releasing,
Mario Odyssey.
if they start releasing Pokemon games on there, I might get it.
They probably will.
Yeah,
They
because
said
it's
that they're
portable
working on
too.
one.
How
They
is
said
the
they're working on,
online on the Switch?
Like what? Playing online?
Yeah.
I mean, it's as fine as any other Nintendo one before. I mean, it's kind of like annoying with the friend code stuff. They still kind of have that system in place, but other than that, I mean, it's been solid.
Okay.
I don't see a problem with it.
Maybe
You don't
it's-
really hear too many people complain about like Nintendo's like stuff dropping a lot or anything like that. The connectivity for Nintendo games are usually pretty alright.
Okay.
Yeah. But all right, let's get into what we've been going on here. What we've been doing. Minister, you missed last week.
I
and we
did
missed
indeed.
you last week.
I did
So
Okay.
Zan's not kicking you out this week.
I know you're not being forgotten. And you're not being booed out the podcast as the rumors speculate or anything like that. Minister's still here.
The dirt
So, what has been going on with you, buddy?
Well, I've seen when I took a plane ride, I seen a movie called Blade Runner, and I know.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah, and I know. Yeah, it's it's not even really a remake. It's almost a sequel because it has like.
It is a sequel.
Yeah, it has the original character in there and new
Yeah.
things happening. So, since I didn't see the original, I didn't really know what to make out of what was happening. It looked like it might have been given hints or Easter eggs, but I didn't understand it. But all in all, the movie is super slow pace and extremely deep. So I'm like,
Kind of how like the first movie was.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like a bit of the original Blade Runner. I didn't really get to finish it, but it was like it's kind of like really like slow paced and stuff.
yeah, it's like really deep, like like deep thought. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've never seen that either.
I don't know how to really rate the movie, to be honest. It'd probably be like right in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying they don't like that one as much as the original.
And see, yeah, I wish I'd seen the original so I could actually, see if I could jump on whatever side of the line. But exciting news: Jessica Jones season 2 is out, and
Oh,
I
nice.
was watching that this morning.
Oh, it's out already?
Yeah, it
I
came
came
out
out?
Friday, I believe.
Came out
Oh my
Thursday
God.
actually.
Oh, Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Oh, even better.
The 8th.
Came
I'm
out for
so
International
behind.
Women's Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, like on purpose or like it
Probably,
just
Probably
happened?
on purpose.
Probably marketing schemes for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, like that is. I mean, I guess it's.
And because they were promoting like I think they've had the most women directors on any one season of a show or something like that.
Huh.
Because that was their big promotional thing. I know they were Kristen Ritter, because like I follow her on Twitter and like Instagram and stuff. She was like promoting that, and like she was taking pictures with all the directors they had. I think they had like 8 female directors for this season, and
Damn.
I think how many episodes for this season? Like 12 or 10?
I haven't checked yet.
I
Probably
haven't,
around
I
there.
haven't looked through the rest.
But it's got to be they usually either between 10 and 12 for
Yeah.
these Marvel shows. So
So it's
if
the
it's 8,
majority.
yeah, it's majority of the season was female directors.
Well,
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, even the cast. Like, if you look at the cast, the majority of
Yeah.
the cast is all female. Like, you rarely
Yeah.
see more males on screen than females.
That's true. Yeah, they have Carrie Ann Moss. I forgot I know her name is Trish on the show, but I don't know her real name. And then like Kristen Ritter is the lead.
Yeah.
I don't know if this guy's come back. Luke Cage. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen Jessica Jones season 2 yet.
I've seen 0 spoilers, and I'm only up to episode 2. But so
okay.
far, I will say, it's
Yeah.
doing fantastic.
Nice.
It's
Sweet.
doing, because when a season 1 was really good. So when a show comes out with a real good season 1, the pressure is on to outdo yourself.
Yeah.
So I was kind of concerned. I was like, man, season 1 was pretty solid. I don't know what they're gonna do to keep the story going. They
Yeah.
found a way.
That's because yeah, especially Horror was it had such a great villain for the
Oh
first
my
season. Like
God,
it had such a
yes.
great
Yeah.
story that was being told, and a lot of people didn't like. They did the same thing for like Daredevil, where people were just like, "Oh, season 2 wasn't that great," or like maybe like the second half of the season wasn't that great, compared to the first one. So hopefully, yeah, this doesn't go because I like the first season of Jessica Jones, and I'm interested to see who they use, like what kind of story they go with for her second season.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised the minister was saying that it like as much as he liked it because the first couple episodes I thought were like really slow, and I wasn't really getting into it yet. Like I feel like the first season was better than the second, but like I'm gonna watch the rest of the second season just to see how it plays out. But I'm about halfway, well I guess like 4 episodes in,
Okay.
and there it started to pick up a bit, but I feel like the beginning was kind of slow for me.
That's good news if it's going to pick up a lot because I mean it's not like action packed. It never was. Jessica Jones never
Yeah.
was. But it's just the stuff happening, like the serious situations happening, and that's what made the show so good. So it kind of starts off pretty serious, I think, and
Okay.
by episode 2 starts getting
It's like
more.
it's funny because like how we talk about the Marvel Disney formula and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
feel like that's the Marvel Netflix formula where like the
Yes.
first couple episodes are always like
Yes.
kind of slowish and then it picks up mid-season and stuff and finishes kind of strong.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
And
it's always much darker and a lot less jokes.
with the
Yeah,
exception of
that too.
Iron Fist, that just stays slow the entire time. No, all right. That's the last time I poke fun at Iron Fist. All right.
I
No, it
still
won't
don't
be.
think it was that bad.
It's
It's okay.
yeah, it's not as bad as
still haven't
people were
seen it.
saying, but it
Yeah.
didn't make the good side.
I wonder if they'll do a season 2 of that one.
I'm
I
sure
wouldn't
they
mind
will.
after Defenders. I wouldn't mind because they fixed the Iron Fist character. They didn't make him annoying in Defenders. He was actually one of my favorite characters in the Defenders show. So they can do season 2.
Okay.
Don't make the whiny Iron Fist. Make the
They
fun,
pretty much-
kick ass. I can whoop anybody's ass. Iron Fist. That's what we need from Defenders.
If they
Like Defenders, he
do-
isn't scared of anybody. He's like,
Yeah.
Luke Cage, I'll body you. It's like Daredevil, I'll body you. Get out of my way. Like he didn't give a fuck. I kind of like that.
If they do it in the second season, I feel like the best way to go about it is pretty much just make it like just a pure martial arts show,
Exactly.
and like not focus too much on
The
whole
corporate.
Yeah,
That corporate.
because those
part.
those are a lot of the parts that dragged when they went into like the whole corporate espionage or like going into his backstory. It's like he's not that interesting of a character. Like when they going deep into it, it's like he didn't seem interesting. He wasn't like the other characters that had like big flaws or stuff like that. It's like, oh, this white boy got lost in the Himalayas or something. Like it just didn't seem as interesting as like Daredevil or Jessica Jones or Luke Cage and like their backstories.
Yeah.
And what worse was about it, he was like whining about it. It's like, yeah, I went through hard times over there, when the plane crashed. And he just reminisces about it. You don't really see any of his harsh training, not even a flashback. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is trash. But, of course, I also saw, I'm keeping my streak going. I'm still watching Deep Space Nine, Star Trek.
Still in that Star Trek.
Yeah,
streak,
I'm trying to get into it. So,
Okay.
Star Trek.
yes.
Yeah.
Over time, there's always been a big battle between Star Wars and Star Trek. And I personally do find that Star Wars is better, for the sake of like the action and the religion behind the Jedi. But now I'm starting to understand why there is a divide and why there are some people that favor Star Trek more. Because what do you guys think? You guys think, have you guys watched Star Trek at all? That's a problem. A lot of people don't even watch
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Like I can't like probably the one that I watched the most was New Generation. That was mostly because like when I was a kid, my aunt used to watch it a lot.
See.
So it was like, well, I wasn't old enough to control the clicker at that
Yes.
time. But
It's the same
I don't
thing
know,
for
maybe
me.
that. I don't know, maybe that had a negative stigma for me
It
at
do-
first, and I was like,
Believe me,
fucking show,
believe me.
I hate it.
It does. It does because I stayed away from Star Trek for decades. Thankful, thanks
Yeah.
to my father, kind of forced me to watch it with him when I was a kid, and I was like, "This show is trash. It's so boring." And, that kid
Boring.
mentality kind of stayed in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But now that I actually gave it a look, because one of the Star Trek fans that I worked with was actually describing it, and I was like, "Man, this thing sounds really interesting." So I gave it a look, and I started with Deep Space Nine. I
Hmm.
looked at a little bit of Voyager too, but when you think about it, Star Trek is actually more developed than Star Wars in terms of like, the races, the technology, the ships.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's easier to do that as a TV show than it is a movie.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the writing, and I guess the actual original writer actually had like a dream of the world becoming like this, where there's
Yeah.
there's no poverty, there's no racism because we kind of evolved out of those petty things, so,
Hmm.
so it's I mean it's pretty good, but I started
The
comparing the
thing.
two, and I mean
Yeah.
it's all over YouTube. And I will say this: Star Wars does beat Star Trek in a couple of things. Like,
Hmm.
for instance, Star Wars, the action, with the lightsaber fights, you're not gonna beat that. The visual effects, the music, and villains like Darth Vader and my man Sidious. You can't beat those. You cannot beat those. But like,
Like, yeah, I think the most recognizable villain is Khan from Star Trek. Um, and it's an interesting one because like yeah, there's always a debate and it's always weird for me to do when like these two. I guess it's because like they both deal in like they're the two big science fiction properties, but it's just so weird because like Mez said, like one's a TV series and one is like it's been primarily a movie series and stuff. Even though Star Trek has had movies,
many movies.
yeah, many movies, like probably a lot more than
Yeah.
Star Wars at this point.
Yeah.
It's
Really?
it's kind of tough
Yes.
because
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
Since
I didn't
since
know
the
that.
since the Shatner days, like I think
yeah.
every like genre of Star Wars end up getting a movie
Yeah.
damn near, or a
The
couple.
problem I have with that is that like a lot of those movies were based on a notion you knew who these characters were from the TV show, So it's like would those movies have been successful if they just came out on their own? Probably not. I
Probably
don't know.
not. I think
Exactly.
the movies, the people making the movies, knew though that the people coming out to see the movies were going to be
Yeah.
diehard fans, so
Yeah.
they knew it because you
But
you have Star Trek conventions, you have all
yeah.
this other stuff, so it is popular. But I think in terms of popularity, Star Wars is more popular
Yeah.
just because it was a bigger breakthrough when it came out. With all the special effects, like no one's seen it before. Like, oh my god! So it just got more popular in that terms, and that stigma of your parents or the older folks force you to watch it as a kid might have gave you some kind of PTSD of not going back to it.
Like I know it was like almost the same for me. Like watching with Star Trek. It was the thing was like it at a certain time of night you'd have Star Trek on like 2 or 3 different channels. It's like can't avoid this fucking show.
And that was funny too, because you mentioned that there was a Deep Space Nine and Voyager were actually running at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
and I guess their time frame was supposed to be about the same time. So it's like nuts of what they were doing with it. So there are some fans out there though, and interesting people at that. For instance, Seth MacFarlane is a fan and was on the show.
Of Star Trek.
Yes.
Yep.
Brian Singer,
That's how he did the other show he got now too. What's it called?
the little spoof one,
Damn.
I forgot the name.
Yeah, that's that. People say it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called now, but yeah, like he did that because like yeah, he's such a big fan of Star Trek, too, that he created that show and it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Or at least people say
They even
So-
had like that Black Mirror episode that was kind of based off of Star Trek too.
that too. Yep.
So it made me think like what is so good about the show. So I started giving it a chance, like I said, and now I'm getting hooked into it slowly, especially with the races out there and their culture. Like everybody knows, everyone's heard about a Klingon or whatever,
Klingon?
warrior, yeah,
Klingon.
like warrior race and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But what the most interesting race to me so far has been the Ferengi, which they look like demons with like big
Those
ears,
big ear guys. Yeah.
but their religion is strictly based on acquisition, which means just acquiring money or acquiring something through business or trade. That's their religion, and their whole life revolves around it. They have like over
You would like that religion, minister.
exactly. They have like over 250 like tenets that they go by. I think no rules of acquisition. I'm like rule of acquisition number 44, blah blah, and it folds into every aspect of life. Like every situation they see, they could relate it to business.
Okay.
So when you compare like how deep and how many different like on Deep Space Nine they have a what's it called a race that they combine themselves with symbiotes. It's pretty much like a worm creature that
Ew.
is, I guess it's pretty much like immortal, and
Okay.
this race can like has the mental capacity to actually accept the word, you know, pretty much take in the worm and meld with it and gain all their experience or whatever. So the captain of Deep Space Nine has a friend that used to have the worm in him, and then he died, and the worm went to a chick. But the chick is able to talk to the captain as if they're best buds because they have the same shared experience, which is kind of like mind-boggling. So that stuff is not in Star Wars. Star Wars, they just have this ugly alien number 1 over there. They got ugly alien number 2. There's no depth other than the main characters. So after seeing
It's
that,
kind of tough to say that because there was a huge amount of mythology and depth to Star Wars
with the
before
legends,
it was
with the,
canonically drained away by George Lucas and stuff.
Yeah, the legend.
So
the
there
legends,
was a bunch of stories
the-
like that,
the legends
where it actually
was.
goes into in depth.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think Star Trek still had him beat though, and even like the ships, like like in Star Wars, what do you think about the ships? Okay, a Star Destroyer, the Death Star, the Millennium Falcon, and
It's pretty cool, badass shit.
yeah, and it kind of ends there though. Like you go to Star Trek, you have like the Federation ships that have like the strongest shields. Then you have the Klingon ships that have a cloaking device, and only one other race in the entire galaxy has the ability to cloak their ships. So that's why they're a threat, and it just gets more and more. Even the Ferengi have like badass ships, but they're not a violent race, so they don't use it. They don't use it to escape instead of fight, even though they can blow
Yeah,
people
I
out
don't
of
know.
water.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there because I see a ton of people hyping like Star Wars ships and like making toys
Yeah.
about them. The only one I ever seen is the Federation ship,
The Enterprise. It's like
the
that's the only one I
Enterprise.
know.
That's it. That's the only one I've ever
It's like,
seen.
com-
I've never
compared
seen
to the
people
other ones
getting
you-
hyped
you
about
named,
the Ferengis.
Like
Yeah.
the freaking Star Destroyers, the Millennium Falcons, the Rogue One. I mean, not what was it?
TIE fighters,
What is it? The Slave One?
Slave One, the TIE fighters, the rebel aircrafts, the rebel pilot ships,
X-wings, like even like those little
X-wings, Y-wings.
starships.
Yeah, come on, man.
See, and
There's a plethora of Star Wars ships you can go to that Star Wars ships
but
that
what
people
do they
lo-
tell
lo-
me?
that
Tell me
love.
something
They have
unique
cool
about
designs.
each ship, though. Tell me something unique about each ship. Now, there's one that makes a lot of noise. The ones that Darth Vader flies around. That's like the most interesting thing about any of the ships there. One sounds like it's screaming when it flies through the air. Like the Star Trek ships actually have like different technologies and different things that give each race an advantage.
Well, I think that's also more of a thing where it's the difference between the two franchises, where like the races in Star Trek actually are separated. In Star Wars, they're one big like thing. They're like a whole.
Yeah, it's a galactic.
It's a galactic federation.
empire. Yeah,
So they're sharing all their
integrated.
technology.
I strictly believe it's just based off of popularity that Star Wars beats out Star Trek in some of these categories. It's just because of the popularity. Now let's go to another one. All right, the villains. Now,
popular for a reason.
now,
Wait, hold up, man. No. Whoa. Wait a minute here. You're not gonna take the whole hour dissecting everything
Dissecting
about
every
it.
single part of these two franchises.
We get it. All right, we get it. You're on board with Star Trek. Okay.
I
No,
feel
no, no.
What's
listen,
your overall?
no, listen,
what's your
listen,
overall point here?
Listen, I still like Star Wars and I like Star Trek.
Okay.
I just realized now that Star Trek is actually a pretty decent show that just doesn't get that chance. You know.
It has conventions, man. It gets the chance.
Yeah, like it has its chance. It has its audience. It has like its own religion at
It's
this
not
point.
like some small little rinky-dink show. It has
Yeah.
a fan base.
It's not an up and coming thing. Like people just like yeah. Like I think Klingon is an officially declared like language at this point. I just think overall the debate between both both properties, the only reason it's even there is because they were both like the pinnacle of sci-fi properties. Like that's when people think of sci-fi, they think of either Star Trek or Star Wars. I don't think it's right to compare them because one's a television show that can delve into more of this stuff than Star Wars can. Like like I said, for me it comes down to the fact that if Star Wars was started as a TV show, it still probably would have worked.
Yes.
Maybe it would have dissected stuff like each episode more and more. Following the hero Luke against Darth Vader each season or whatever, every different villain.
Yeah.
Like Star Trek may not have worked as a movie if it started out that way because it has so much to go over that people would just get bored about it. So it had to be a TV show.
I don't know.
Like both things work in their own world. Like I don't know.
The only reason why, and this is a decided factor, the only reason why Star Wars could be considered better was because they came up with Sidious, with the crackling.
No.
So
there was so much more things. Han Solo himself has so much stuff going for him.
Oh, it's Sidious. It's
all right.
Sidious.
You made up for your missed week. See, this is why he gets banned every other week. We got to move along. Let's go to Mez here. Mez, what do you got for us?
Well, as far as like the stuff I've done, actually, I just realized. I think it's been 20 years since the first Rush Hour came out.
Dear.
So I went back and watched it. And
was there an anniversary?
No, I just realized I was like watching.
Where did this come from?
I was watching a stream and someone was talking about it. It's like, oh yeah, like Rush Hour came out 20 years ago. I'm like, holy shit! Like I was surprised it was
that.
Did they have
that
like
old.
a date on their calendar like 20
Did
years?
it impact their life?
For Rush Hour of all.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even
All
know.
movies.
But like I went back and watched it, and man, that movie ages. Does movie age? Yeah. Like I feel like if that movie came out now, some of the jokes they did would be like way too offensive for the crowd now.
All right,
Oh, wow.
There's so many movies from that era you
I've
can
got
say
to
the same
say
thing about.
this, Mez. I thought Rush Hour was pretty corny while I was watching it. It had some gems, but I think a lot of jokes were reaching from the get go.
Yeah, I mean, even with the jokes, I'm just talking like the fact like having like Jackie Chan saying the N-word during the movie. It's like, yeah, I don't think that would fly nowadays.
They still kind of do that stuff.
Do they?
Like, some movies do that stuff. Yeah.
It's like without it being like relevant to like the time. Like I know like Leonardo DiCaprio said it during Django Unchained, but that was like more of because of the period time. Like
that was just like a fish out. I'm sure I don't know one off the top of my head right now, but I'm sure if I actually did research, there's like a fish out of water story where like a foreigner says it not knowing what he's, or there's like a movie where it's in the modern time and somebody says it thinking it's okay to say or whatever.
Yeah, cause yeah, that was kind of like the whole situation with Jackie Chan's character doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even like some of the jokes, like he was saying, was like stuff I found a lot funnier before. It's like, yeah. It's not as funny. There's still some stuff that like Jackie Chan does that's funny, or Chris Tucker, but overall I didn't find it as funny as I thought it would be from before.
It's probably because of Chris Tucker.
To be honest,
Because Jackie Chan still has a career, so
Yeah.
Chris Tucker was funny in Friday. I didn't consider him that funny in Rush Hour, in any of them.
he was fine in Fifth Element too, playing that annoying character.
Yeah.
Played that well.
Funny enough,
Didn't
like
like
I
him
think
in that either.
I think the bloopers were funnier than some of the jokes they actually said in the
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they were.
But I know another thing too is like I don't know if you guys saw it, but Monster Hunter is now the best-selling Capcom game ever.
I did see that.
That's
So-
what's
So-
up.
Didn't I?
Round of
I thought this
applause
happened
for
a while
them.
ago.
What was that?
I thought this happened a while ago. Was this recent? Because I could have swore.
No, it was like on pace to becoming the
okay.
best selling when it hit. What was it, 6 million, and then now it hit 7.5 million.
7.5.
Now it's considered the best-selling Capcom
No
game
loot
ever.
boxes or anything like that either. No microtransactions or loot boxes.
No, it's just
They
a
Just,
good
did
game.
just updates.
Just a good game. Yep.
This is
Just
the
constant
new
updates.
PSO.
And like even this week now they have another event update where like it's another thing where like if you complete it, I know the last time they had like that wiggler head thing. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Yeah.
they have like shades, so you can have your characters wear a pair of shades.
Oh, I think my shaders.
No,
I was like shaders finally.
Oh,
Well, like actually like shades.
Oh,
And like when I was looking at it, it reminded me of like freaking Wesker
huh.
from Resident Evil, and
Yeah.
it got me like thinking too. Is like, and like we saw like the Ryu and Alloy thing, and I know upcoming they have a Mega Man
Mhm.
things. Like what
Oh,
nice.
other like crossovers would you guys like to see in like
Capcom?
Oh, in
that
this?
kind of stuff?
Pokemon.
Okay.
Where like either it be like
It's Capcom.
characters
They're not
like
gonna get
skins.
Pokemon.
and
I
stuff
want
like that.
Pokemon. They did Alloy or whatever her name is.
Aloy,
Yeah.
Aloy.
but that's isn't what who did
I want a
that
Pikachu
Horizon movie or show?
Calico. Okay.
That was I can't remember the name. Guerrilla Games, I think.
Well, they did it in coordination with them or something
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, I don't think you're gonna get freaking Nintendo to work with Capcom or something to put their stuff in their
Maybe
game.
unless
we
they-
can slay a Charizard.
It's like I was gonna say like unless they did it like a cross promotion thing, they put like the Monster Hunter character in Smash and put Pikachu in Monster Hunter.
Maybe.
I tell you
Send that
what.
to
see
Nintendo.
that.
Send that now.
Since Monster Hunter failed in Marvel's Capcom Infinite, like they're just gonna forget about that game at this point.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, you know what? Let's try to put Monster Hunter in because like they had Ryu in Smash 4, so he was fun to play.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
I tell you what, Capcom character I would like to see show up in Monster Hunter.
Who's that?
The guy from Final Fight who shows up to his broken down car and says, "Oh my god!"
Oh my god!
And I want that emote as well.
that would actually be pretty cool though. If they even if they just had the emote
Yep.
because we saw.
Just like, oh my god.
Yeah. What about you, man?
It probably wouldn't happen, but any character from Killer 7.
Ooh, is that a Capcom
I would love
game?
it. They need to bring that game back, is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, because that was one of my favorite games
That
of all time.
That has one of
But-
the most emotional endings I've ever seen, and I think I
Oh,
witnessed
yes.
that while you were playing it, Zad.
Yep, probably.
Never
I
wanted to
played
play
that
the game
a lot.
myself, but I enjoyed watching the end.
Yep. Any character from there, Garson Smith, Master Smith, Khan Smith.
Yeah.
I like Khan. He'd be like, fuck you. Like, yeah, anybody. I would love it from that game.
For me, I was like thinking of at least like as far as like characters like with unique skins or unique weapon to have Dante from Devil May Cry.
Yo, that would,
You
that
have,
would make
like,
sense too.
Rebellion as a
Interesting.
great sword, and then having like the
Yep.
Dante skin. I feel like that would
Yep.
like work
Oh.
really well.
That's
He
actually
would work really well. Yeah, it makes sense. And if they give him the twin blades, he could just go nuts with it.
Yeah. It's like
Or you give him the kind of a great sword thing. Yeah, that would work. And Dante combos.
yeah, and like overall, I love the fact that you see a lot more games having crossovers between
Yeah.
characters. Like just
That's
like
totally
seeing
awesome.
that kind of stuff is really cool.
I'm surprised you didn't want like a Resident Evil character, Kitty. Like freaking one of those
The
guys.
Nemesis?
Leon Kennedy or Nemesis. He just has a big old
Man.
bazooka.
We already have guns. Why not?
That's true.
I
Yeah,
know, right?
he could use that heavy bow gun and do the Ventura
Go nuts.
shots.
Their armor
Yeah,
would
that's
be
at Wesker,
weaker
so I was
than
thinking, there's also Resident Evil.
Yeah.
their armor would be weaker than Ryu's. Like what was his like
It's
10
like
defense
12.
or something?
Yeah,
It's like
12
12.
versus-
it's like
yeah.
the actual armor.
They just
of
have
cotton.
clothes.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
just clothes. This is
Fabric.
just a man walking around with clothes on.
Yeah.
In this monster world, like Jesus.
All right.
But yeah, I just hope they keep like adding updates to that game and keep it
Yeah.
fresh. 'Cause it's so fun.
It
And-
is, especially with
is.
friends.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
That's
it shows people, it's like, hey man, you don't need all that extra crap. You just need to make a decent game and keep adding content, and people will keep playing it.
That's
Keep
When
buying
it
it.
sell, it will make
Listen
you
up.
money.
Destiny.
Listen up, corporate. Oh, my
R.I.P.
Oh, my God.
You guys literally played that for like a week, and you're like, well, that was fun.
But we played the hell out of it.
I know.
I told
But
you.
yeah,
I
there was
played-
just
I
like
told
it
you it
just
was a
got too
fast
nuts.
burner, man. It was just
Yeah.
like the first one. First Destiny was the same
Yep.
thing. Everybody was on it up to level 30, and then the
Yeah.
game got shut off.
Yep. Nothing else. Yeah, it was not much after it. It was just like, no, we got still more stuff. It's like, no, yeah, we're kind of done with all this other
Yeah.
crap.
You didn't even do the raid once.
Nope.
Well,
You-
couldn't,
we don't have
couldn't
enough
amass
people.
6 people.
Yeah.
I know. By the time you guys got there, everybody had stopped.
The
So
exodus had
I-
begun.
I didn't, and that's another thing too. Is like a game like Destiny, like to do a raid, like you have to know everyone you're going in with, and kind of coordinate a lot more. So you can't just like go into a raid with a bunch of randos. And
Oh,
expect to be good.
I did that with my friend once. It was so stressful, like because I didn't like talking to them and stuff, and then like they were so serious. I'm like, I just want to have fun, but also do this, and they were just so serious about it,
Bunch of tryhards.
pretty much. And I was like, well, I'm never doing this ever again.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you got, man?
No, that was about it. Just wanted to see like what you guys, if you had any ideas like for crossover stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Kitty, go ahead.
So I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh again.
Oh, my God.
The show?
Yeah, the show.
What is up with you guys? You
It's
Mez
on-
going to
it's
Rush Hour, and are we in 1998 all of a sudden? Like,
I think
It's
Yu-Gi-Oh's
on
better than
Amazon.
Rush Hour, though.
It's on
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Amazon,
Rush Hour,
definitely.
Star Trek.
I know.
Buddy.
This
Back
is
in the
on
past.
Amazon.
back in the past podcast, I guess.
It's on Amazon Prime, so I'm like, yes, I'm going to watch it. Oh my god, I forgot how much I love this show though. Like, it's so good. It's for
Is
me,
it?
though. Yeah, it is.
God.
Like when he does his
Dude.
combos, his card combos, and I'm just like, oh shit,
Oh
that
my
was so
God.
good.
Yu-Gi.
Oh.
Oh my god.
And I saw Bandit Keith again because
What a
you guys
name.
were talking about it.
Pegasus.
Front row seats to the
Shit was
battle
so-
century.
Everything
And
is so
then-
epic, which is a card game.
Yep.
Yes, and like I'm gonna get like the it's time to duel. I'm gonna get that as a ringtone, so that every time I get a text message.
I
That's
think
what I'm
Yu-Gi-Oh
gonna
gave
do.
us the most try-hard person ever, freaking Sato Kaiba. Like, he is the ultimate
yeah.
try-hard. He took this game seriously and was always like trying to outbeat somebody. I was like, man, it's a card game. Calm down. Like,
I know,
this is my life.
but it's
carrying,
so
This is my
he's
life.
carrying around cards in a freaking suitcase.
gotta care. If he has the money, he's gonna do it.
God.
But it's so good, guys. It's so good. I've been rewatching that,
man.
and then yeah, I'm gonna get a ringtone for that. What else happened this week? Oh, okay. So you know how I work at a call center.
Mm-hmm.
So it's happened to me 3 times now, where somebody's like, "Wow, I really like how your voice sounds," and I find that so weird
Mhm.
Creepy.
because you know how. Because you know, like when you edit videos or something and you listen to your voice, and it makes you like cringe because you like
Yeah.
hate the sound of it. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, how does this happen? Like I hate it. Like everybody hates listening to their voice.
Yeah.
But it's happened to me like 3 times now. 2 in Spanish and 1 in English.
Oh, Lord.
Because I take Spanish calls too.
Was it
I'm
all
like,
guys or was it females?
It was all guys.
Yeah, these guys are trying to hit on you.
Yeah, but like over
Your
the
voice
phone,
sounds
like
so good.
that's so creepy. They didn't say it like that. But
That's how he would say it. That's how Minister would say it.
I would just be like,
Expect
Goodbye.
the call.
Oh my God.
and it's funny too though because the Spanish ones they're like, you kind of suck at speaking Spanish, but you sound good anyways. I'm like,
Wow.
thanks,
Yeah,
thanks.
I don't know about
It's like
that.
that backhanded
that-
compliment.
Backhanded compliment.
I
Yeah.
know.
Trying to bring you down.
I was like, well, thanks. Okay, bye.
The Spanish guys weren't hitting on you. That's kind of mean, actually.
Backhanded compliment.
Maybe they're negging you.
Yeah.
Like near Gigante?
No, like
What?
negging. That's like a thing where it's like you put a girl down, but you give her a compliment afterwards to kind of like.
Oh.
It's like you bring down her
Oh.
self-esteem, so you make yourself look better or something. I don't know. It's like a one of those pickup show things that you've seen. That
Yeah, that's just asshole people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're an asshole.
that was like I don't know. That was from like the mid 2000s. That was like a popular phase where people were doing that stuff.
Here's a compliment
I
to
do
go with the
remember
insult
that.
I just gave.
Exactly. Yeah. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember like shows about that. I'm
Yep.
like, do people talk to each other outside? I don't understand that. Just kidding. All right, and then I have another YouTube video from this week. This time it's about Mandela effect. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. All of
Yes, because you've told us
It's
this
like-
a lot of times.
you. I don't think all of you have though.
No, I don't think Minister
I
was
think I
in
only talked-
privy in our situation
No.
conversations.
I don't think so. It only happened like once or twice. But anyways,
We don't know because the Mandela effect.
Maybe we thought
It's
we thought
alternate
we had this
universe.
conversation, but I really did it. I was like, oh,
Oh Lord.
it actually didn't happen. So it's like where you remember something from the past a certain way, but then when you go look at it now, it's not like
Yeah.
that. So like a lot of examples, like I've watched some of the videos. I like watched one and then it came up on my like recommended feed. So then I watched another one and where it was like the Monopoly guy. He doesn't have a monocle.
yeah.
Did you guys think he had a monocle?
No.
Well, not now because
Oh.
you told us. So.
What is a monocle?
The one glass
Yeah, the
eyeglass.
rich person eyeglass thing that they wear, and they like, Steven, like they rub their like they yank it or whatever. I don't know why I said
I
Steven.
don't
know.
remember him having that.
Well, yeah, he didn't.
See, I do.
Interesting.
I do. What else was there? Fruit Loops spelled with like a fruit, like an actual fruit, or OOT,
Yeah.
Was it
Does
actual
that-
fruit, right?
like FRUIT,
Oh,
Was
So
actual
like
yeah.
fruit.
fruit, like fruit,
Yeah.
like the fruit, or like FROOT because it's for children.
It was spelled like fruit.
No, it was two O's.
You see, alternate universe.
No, this is just
Bad
bad memory
memory.
because I've had fruit. Yeah, I haven't had Fruit Loops in forever.
I think some of the like
To-
I've heard it.
To Mez's defense, I don't ever remember purchasing a box of Fruit Loops.
I think some of like the most famous ones, right, were like the Star Wars one. That people misheard that wrong or always misquoted it wrong. When people always say like Darth Vader says, "Luke, I am your father," when it's like, no, that's not
Oh,
what he
yeah.
says. It's like he says, "Obi-Wan never told you the truth," and he's like, "No, I am your father." And people always like, "No, he says Luke," that's how they always quote it, and it's like that's wrong. He doesn't say it like that.
Or what was it, the Berenstain Bears
Yeah.
and Berenstein Bear, or other way around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's also your never miss where the sand hits.
Yes.
That's where it started at. That's where it
Yes.
started at. Okay, so I mean, we this was off pocket, so we gotta go into this because me and E, so we played this game. Like I'm pretty sure people played it before too. It was like Red Dead Revolver, and
Oh, yeah.
I forgot the guy's name now. Damn, but it was like the guy with the mustache. I forgot his name, but like
Old and crusty.
like he had this quote that we swore up and down that we heard it constantly, which was "Never miss where the sand hits, boy." And I was like, that's the most badass line of all time because we thought it meant that he never misses whenever like somebody's stepping on sand or whatever. He never misses
Yeah,
anything
he
in
never
that area.
misses.
He's gonna hit it.
Best slide ever.
Best line ever. And we quoted that thing. Oh, every time I played with the cowboy, even when I was like playing with Aaron Black or McCree or anything like that, that was a quote I always went to. So I went to look it up. I played because I was playing Red Dead Revolver the other day. Oh, that was like a couple months ago. I was playing Red Dead Revolver, and I was like, like it's not what he's saying isn't the same thing. Like it sounds different. So I actually looked it up online, and what he says was "Never mess with a Sandhurst boy," and I was like,
That's when Zan sinned against
Yep.
me. When he gave me that information, I never needed to know that.
because yeah, I texted E. I was like, E, did you know that he says this actual line or whatever? It was like the glass shattered in E's head or something like that. He was like, no.
Like, the line is not even near as badass as what we thought it was.
That's a
So,
horrible line. That sounds like like a Sandhurst boy. Like I don't know. That sounds like a little, like a Cabana boy or something like that. Like no man.
See, alternate universe.
But we
see, and you think you chop it up to like bad memory, because that's my theory too. Is like people just can't be wrong and like admit that they remember something wrong, but like it doesn't affect you until it's something you thought you remembered correctly, and then you're like, what the fuck? Your whole like life changes.
I think somebody goes back and changes the history books.
like somewhere along the line, me and Minister like stepped into an alternate universe where it was like we both went into it and it was that never miss with the sand hits boy line is forever gone now, and there's like there's another Zan and there's a Zan and E somewhere they're enjoying that line, but we get Sandhurst boys now over here.
My thing is, I think someone changed it. They went back and said, man, this line is so badass that it cannot be beaten by any other line. We're going to have to go back and change the history reports and say it was something completely different. Come on now.
Because when I played it originally, it was on the PS2, I think, or the Xbox, the original one. The original Xbox, I think, back then.
It might have been the GameCube.
Nah, I don't think I came out for the GameCube. I think it was for either the Xbox or the PS2 that I had it for. Probably the Xbox, the original Xbox. So that's when I was like, yeah, okay. Like, that was the line. But now I bought it for the PS4. So I don't know if it was like, did they redo it or like, is it just the sound different now?
They didn't redo it.
They redid it. There's no way. It sounded nothing like, oh, don't never mess
with
the
Sandhurst boy. Yeah, it didn't sound
like it sounded never miss where the he even stops and pauses. Never miss where the sand hits, boy. Come on. You can't miss that.
I think you've just been adding on to the legend of the line as the years have been going on.
There's no way me and Zad heard the same
thing.
Because
we heard
me and Zad usually hear
from
different
a different
things.
universe.
We
heard
usually
the
hear
same
different
thing,
things.
yes.
But this one, we were 100% sure of what we were hearing. So I'm going to say they changed
it was at different times. Like, I played this game, and I was like, that's what he says. He came over, heard it, and he was like, that's a great line. It wasn't like I was like, hey, E, listen to this line or whatever, anything like that. Because why would I do that?
That's the best line I've heard.
Yeah. But now when I play it on the PS4, I can clearly hear the new line. I'm like, wait a minute, like, this is not what he says. Like,
I think you mean the right line. The right line, not the new line.
The correct line.
This new line he's saying, I don't know what it is.
Mandela effect.
I'm gonna show you proof that history gets changed. All right, so we were talking about that line where, oh my car.
Yeah.
The original one was, oh my God, but they changed that later on. So I think that's what they did with it, man. That
maybe.
used to be never.
Because I don't know what else.
I don't think so.
I'm going to hold it in my heart that that's what happened.
You can keep it forever if you want, but it's not the truth.
Because I was telling you, if that's not their line, then we should just freaking patent that line and take it for ourselves. Then freaking like if they're not going to use that great line, then we will, because that's what we remember and that's what we're going to use. Never miss where the sand hits, boy.
Done.
That's funny.
Copyright.
Another good example was what is it? Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
The box of chocolates
Yep.
line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's like people always like thought it was like life is like a box of chocolates, and he said something else like life was like
you
a box.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's different from what you remember. I can't remember the exact line. I should have wrote these down, but I forgot because procrastination. But
what else could he even said?
He says I think he said like life was like a box of chocolates or something like that. Not life is like a box of chocolates. So it wasn't like a big one for that one.
I mean, he had an accent.
Yeah, people always like life is like a box of chocolates. And it's like no, life was like a box of chocolates. And
that's changed.
But then on his VHS tape, it's the one that you think it is. But the quote he actually says is different.
So the VHS tape quotes him wrong too.
Yes. So how can
hilarious.
the VHS tape quote him wrong? Like, didn't these interns do their research before they put it on there? Like,
nope.
What?
Maybe they got food too. They got Mandela or something like that.
Maybe it's been starting since
Ano-
forever. But the theory
Another one
is,
another one that I caught was that in Iron Man 3 he never says they'll never see me coming. He says they'll never see me arriving. So you've been remembering that one wrong too.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I think you got caught there too, my friend. You got Mandela because
Stupid. Doesn't even sound anything like it. They'll never see me arriving. Okay.
But
That would
yeah,
have
I
been
highly
sad.
suggest you check those videos out so that you can like your life can just change forever.
okay,
Yeah,
ruining
that's
lives.
it for my week. It's what I do.
Okay, so as for me, I started watching this show on Netflix, Master of None with Aziz Ansari.
Oh yeah, I saw that
Seen it?
show. Yeah.
What'd you think about it? Because I just started. I think I'm up to like episode 5 now or 6 of the first season.
I mean, I watched it a while ago, so I don't
Mm.
really remember too much about it. But I remember finding it kind of funny, at least for like the Aziz Ansari stuff, because he's a pretty funny person. But-
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like so, basically the basic synopsis of it is like he's like each episode deals with a different portions of his life. Like the first episode deals with like whether or not he wants to have kids, like the pros and cons of that. Like the second episode deals with like his family and stuff like that, like seeing the differences in like how his like what their fathers did to get to America and like give them a good life, and then like how the kids like kind of like treat them in response to it. Like, you know, they don't have time to hang out with them, there's no time to do stuff with them, and they're like just doing like stupid shit like, oh, we want to go watch a movie, or like we're on our phones all the time and stuff like that, and the dad's just like, okay, like whatever. But then like in their heads they're going through like they're recounting all the stuff that they did to just get their kids here and like give them a good life. Like it's comedy, but it deals with a lot of serial like, you know,
Yeah.
topical stuff and stuff like
'Cause I think, I mean, I don't actually. Yeah, I don't want to go into. Cause I remember one episode there, but you said you haven't got too far into it. But there's like another episode dealing with like racism in Hollywood
I saw
and
that
casting.
one. I
and
saw
stuff.
that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that one. Yeah, because like there's like he's doing casting calls and they're just like, oh, could you do it in accent and stuff like that, and he's just like, well, I don't want to. It's like I don't do those accents well and stuff like that, and they're just like, well, you know, it might be better for you if you did, and like then like it's you know, it's a lot of stuff where he's tackling those kind of issues and stuff like that. Like in each episode tackles something different. But you know, there's like slight comedies in them and stuff like that. It's pretty good. It's not bad, and it seems to be like pretty
Okay.
popular and stuff like that. I've always like seen commercials for it or whatever, but I never like gave it a chance. So I was like, oh, I just finished watching shows, like, so I decided to get into something new. So I was like, I thought I'd give this a shot, but so far it's pretty good.
What is it
Okay.
called?
Master of None.
Master of
Master-
None.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've seen,
Yeah.
you know, I've scrolled by it as well. Never had the urge to watch it, but it's good to know that actually these are real issues.
Yeah.
And just plays it off as a comedy.
Yeah.
You didn't get the memos and to watch something old, like all of us?
To watch all of it.
To watch something old?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. I know that like I went like as far back as 2017. I didn't go to.
To the 90s?
I mean, I've been playing. I also been playing Injustice 2 a lot. I think I talked that last time. Like I just started up recently, cause the Turtles came out, so I had to get in that. I'm playing primarily Michelangelo, just totally fun. Like I'm having a good time with it, which is funny because I talked to Kitty about this the other day, where I was like, you know, who would have thought like me being such a Marvel fan would have more fun or like be playing Injustice 2, which has primarily DC characters, more than not even buying the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite game
It's
at
just
all.
a better game.
It is. It's
It's
just
just
a
a
better
better
game.
game.
It's
That's all.
totally
Yes.
just a better game.
And better characters, and it's just all around
Well,
better.
Characters.
But yeah. But
Decent characters are
it's funny
kinda
because you
good.
guys been like, we've been talking about like stuff from the 90s and like stuff from the past or whatever. And I guess this kind of brings me up to like my point, which is like stuff that's being brought up once again from the past, which is that our video games like being blamed again for school violence or violence in kids and stuff
Lord.
like that. Like that whole question is being brought up again.
It's
It was brought up
ridiculous.
like like I wasn't gonna touch it like last time we I think last week's podcast it was still like being talked about and I wasn't gonna touch it, but then like I saw this article and I sent it out to you guys by I forgot the dude's name. It was like from CNN, where he's just like he correlates. Oh, if a mass shooter wants to hone his craft, like don't hand him a virtual boot camp, and he's like kind of equating that using VR in video games can somehow teach people or make or train them to become a proficient shooter in any kind of way. And I was just like, once I read the whole article and stuff like that, like his whole like like this like theory or like basis
Yeah.
of this thing, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like this, does people actually believe this stuff, or is he just like stirring shit up for no reason? Because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I read the whole article, and I usually don't read all of them, and the shit was laughable.
Mhm.
Like I started laughing in my room as I was reading it because it was so stupid.
Because he's
like,
not just making a general statement, right? He's actually digesting it. He's like saying like,
Yeah.
oh, like the trigger, like
making different points.
yeah, like the
oh
trigger,
my
like it
God.
shouldn't. The things like the VR has trigger
too
fingers. It has
realistic.
trigger fingers, so
It's
it
too
makes it more
realistic.
realistic. Or and the controller vibrates, so it gives him a feeling of like kickbacks. And it's like, no, it doesn't. No,
No,
like,
it's
I think
nothing
each
the
of us-
same.
Like,
I think each of us here has all shot a gun. I don't know
Yeah.
what other caliber you have. I know for the most, I know me. I know some of us here have shot like automatics, and like the kickback from an automatic, like or even
so
semi-automatic is way
Yeah,
different.
It's a lot.
It's a lot
It's
than
a lot
any
of
controller
kickback
or any
that
VR
a
controller can
can
give.
show you. Yeah.
Like I don't know if you
Yeah,
shot an
you
automatic or
can't-
you
you
shot a
can't-
handgun.
you can't
Mez,
simulate
but yeah,
that.
like that when you shot your thing, because Mez, you're probably like the most recent one to actually shoot a weapon. I don't know, was it
Yeah.
just primarily the handgun or was it
yeah, it was just
like
a
did
handgun.
that at all feel the same as like shooting a
Pulling a trigger?
in
No.
a controller or something like that? Like come on,
Hell
man,
No.
you don't train for that. Like
Oh, it's so different. Even
And then,
if
like-
if we put VR headsets on, like it's totally different. Like
Yeah.
you're never gonna be at that level. Like so I'm really bad at shooting games, but in real life, I'm really good at aiming.
yeah,
I'm the same thing. Like I suck at
Yeah.
like Call of Duty. I miss all day in that thing. But actually,
Yeah.
put me to qualify on some targets, and I knock it out the park. So that
Exactly.
should disprove that theory right off the bat.
Exactly. And like the weight of a gun and like the kickback, I have really weak wrists apparently because like the kickback from a handgun will like move my hands backward. I'm like, oh shit, it's dangerous.
like it's totally different. Like I'm kind of like the opposite. Whereas like I'm pretty good at in shooting in video games, first person shooters and whatnot. But when I'm actually like using a weapon, there's no way I could apply that physics or that thing at all to shooting like a real weapon or anything like that. And like I can
So
get in the
that-
general
that-
area, but for the most part, like the kickback will like make it like, oh shit, okay, I gotta like control myself, control everything here. Whereas in a video
gotta
game,
hold
I'm
that
like
sucker
super
steady.
relaxed and just like, okay, that's it. Like just pull a trigger.
Like, that in
It's
itself
funny.
kind of like disproves that guy's whole argument. The fact
Yes,
that,
it
like
does.
you guys have like real world, like experience in it, and like
Yeah.
like your actual like evidence that is not true. But I was like,
Yeah.
when I was like looking at the articles, like some of the stuff he was like proposing to do too, it was like some of the most ridiculous
Oh
things
my
ever.
god, yes. That
When he was
that's
like,
when I got
it's
into
like,
like,
oh, yeah,
that's
you
what I was
should-
thinking like too. Like I'll let you finish too, but that's what I got thinking like, is this a serious thing or is he like fucking pulling our legs here?
Yeah, because like the whole thing is saying is like, oh yeah, they shouldn't have bullets fly straight like a real bullet. You should make them curve like a boomerang. I'm like, what is this guy talking about?
It's so
He's like,
funny.
oh yeah, like why even use real weapons or like, like it could be look like a paintball gun or he's like, no, why use real people? Like don't use human characters.
Yeah.
Use robots. And it's like I'm pretty sure a ton of games do that. Like
These robots, aliens.
that doesn't
That's
matter.
what he's
Like
saying. Yeah.
Or like, what was it? He's like, oh, instead of having like an actual trigger, have something like to like move your elbow to shoot the gun. I'm like it's some of the most ridiculous
oh
things.
yeah, you like flick your wrist or move your elbow to shoot a gun instead of like pulling a trigger. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's just like
Yeah.
this kind of whole argument being brought up again, and it's being brought up from the top, which is why this is even most ridiculous. Like, it's one thing if it was just this idiot writing an article about it, but the fact of the matter, like, government is thinking, yeah, there's a correlation, and it's like,
It's really not.
like, so you're
bro.
saying a
Like,
kid who like, who's played a video game can automatically just pick up a weapon, this 17-year-old kid with no training and just, like, I mean, If he's just spraying and praying, then yeah, he probably would, you know, if anybody can pick up a gun and shoot.
Yeah.
But like you tell me, he's getting these marksman skills, or he's getting like the handling of a weapon from using VR or playing video games. Like, come on, man.
It's like I was thinking, like, if they would feel like that way for video games, why wouldn't they change the way like a paintball gun or airsoft guns look or feel or shoot? Like those are a lot more, like those can actually feel and look like weapons.
Yeah.
Not the way they like, not the way the kickback and everything, but the form and shapes. Like, why not? Where's the argument about changing like the form of airsoft guns or paintball guns from not having like the same trigger as a like actual gun?
Yeah. Lest we forget all these like driving simulators that somehow, you know, apparently if you're gonna make that correlation with guns, you have to make it with everything else, right? So driving simulators teaches people how to drive. Why do we even need a road test anymore? I can just play my game, and if I do well there, well, give me my license.
Just play Forza.
Oh God, I'm really bad at driving games. No, please don't change it to that. I never get a license.
It's just ridiculous, and not like, you know, there's a ton of like other YouTube videos. I know Jim Sterling, he's like a pretty good YouTuber who kind of delves into these things more, where they talk about this. I mean, there are a ton of like video game people were talking about this as well on Twitter and stuff like that, like saying like there's no correlation between the two. It's kind of ridiculous, and I'm surprised that this is even going as high as it was. It's like we've had this argument for years, all through the 90s, most of the, you know, mid-aughts and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't correlate. Like, just because one person, and I think he actually stated, like, there was one case of a person who was training in VR and somehow, like, was able to go shoot people, you know, kill people, shoot a gun and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, but like, that, you know, in what do you call those two, like when you put the circles and stuff like that, the Venn diagrams, and the Venn diagrams of things like that, you're eventually gonna find one person who fits in that middle, where like they're good at VR games and they're also a good shooter. It's like that has to exist somewhere. That doesn't mean there's a correlation between him using the VR to train to kill people. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure this guy, if he was that good, must have had some experience with guns, or he just got lucky. Like, that could just happen, where like if he happens to play a lot of video games and then goes out and like shoots people and stuff like that, sadly as it is, it might not have been a thing. He was like, oh yeah, all my video game experience taught me how to do this. Like, no, he might have just been like, maybe the, you know, people weren't moving as quickly as they should, or he just got lucky or something like that, and just happened to, you know, hit his targets that well. It's just like a shitty situation that's for people to try to like find a scapegoat for, and it's like, what else can we throw under the bus? Oh, video games.
I think
like,
people looked exteriorly a lot to see what they can blame, but they never blame like themselves, right? Like, well, they never are like, what's going on in this kid's life that makes him want to shoot other kids?
Yeah.
You know, they're like gonna blame the weapon itself and like change the gun laws or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's always gonna happen because there's other things going on. It's not like they always look exteriorly, you know. They're not ever like,
there were mass murders before video games and before movies.
And it is funny. Like, I know you bring that up where people are like, oh, like there's gun control laws, and I'm like, I'm surprised a lot of these people would blame video games before even looking. Like, they're trying to like, you know, regulate video games and stuff like that before even like proposing the idea of even regulating guns or anything like that. I'm like,
well, they've always tried to regulate them like that, but like, it still doesn't matter, because if you want a gun, you can get it illegally, just like everything else, like drugs and other stuff that's illegal. Like, that's not gonna stop them. Like, we have to like work with the humans, because they're the ones actually pulling the trigger. That's the issue. The humans, not
just help the people.
The weapons. Yes, exactly.
I don't know. I don't want to get into the debate here because we'd be probably going for another hour and stuff like that. But I disagree with a lot of what you're saying there. But like I said, I don't want to get into that because we'll be here forever. I've had this debate with tons of people already, like a lot of folks that I work with and stuff like that. But I'll just say I'll disagree and leave it at that, because like, I know people have their own like you know, ideas and their own beliefs and stuff like that, what should be like regulated and what shouldn't be touched and stuff like that. So, and I respect it. It's fine. But as far as like dumb, it's like, you know, trying to go after video games, which is like, it just seems like they're trying to like beat up on like, you know, the weak person, or like trying to go after the easy target. It's kind of like, what can we go after that's kind of an easy thing that we don't have to like really face the issue, whether it's gun related or whether it's mental health issues. Probably like Probably more one than the other. Maybe both. Who knows? But like going after video games, just to me, ultimately doesn't make sense. Like there's a
it's
discussion
always-
for other stuff, but for video games, I don't think it belongs in that discussion.
It's always going to be something that like you'd see the younger generation does more, but that the older generation doesn't. So like before it was like what, rap music or rock music.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And like that was the stuff that,
Like Marilyn Manson.
during that time, that was what it's like that was what the younger kids were listening to, but a lot of these older people in the government weren't. So they're like, well, that's the problem. Then,
We don't get it.
because it's like we don't get it, so that's the problem. And now it's like video games, like all the young kids are playing this, we don't get it, that's the problem.
Yep.
And like I think everything we can go back to is like pretty much saying is like correlation isn't causation. It's like just
Yeah.
because someone has played a video game and has shot someone doesn't mean that was the cause of it.
Exactly.
And I think that's lost out of the time where like just because like A and B happened doesn't mean that they were like connected. It just happened to be where those two things happened. Is not one cause of the other.
Yeah.
Soon it'll be like, oh, these kids on. I'm surprised it hasn't got there. Yeah, it probably has. Where people just like, oh, kids today always on their cell phones and Snapchat and other stuff like that. Like, there's a disconnect from humanity. So that's what's making them kill people now and stuff like that.
That's definitely a thing people
That's
say
what I'm
now.
thinking, right? It probably
They're
is a
like-
thing already, right? Where it's like they're disconnected
like
from
the fact that
society.
people don't talk to each
Yeah.
other, and now you don't see people as
You don't-
humans.
yeah,
and stuff
so
like
it's
that.
it's easier for them to kill people because they don't see them as a human being anymore. Nobody's talking to each other. They're just all texting and stuff and Snapchatting and putting videos up. So it's easier for them. It's like, okay, all that happens. Yep, I'm pretty sure there was. So back in the days, there was no murderers at all, right? Nothing. Okay. It's just those kind of things. Nonsense. But all right. Anybody else got anything else or anything to say on any of the topics before we head off for the day?
No,
No,
I don't think
we're
so.
good.
Okay, Kitty, nothing. You good?
I think I'm like from like what we did last week, where we go from a heavy topic and then go to like a nice little
All right, yeah.
lighthearted question.
What do we got?
Is like this is another one I actually got from Twitter. It was do you consider cereal soup?
Oh my God, goddamn Xavier
God.
Woods. No, I don't, because I know what he's gonna say too, because he's gonna be like, oh, it was like because soup is supposed to be hot, and he's like, well, there's cold soup and stuff like that. I still don't consider cereal to be
There
soup.
is cold soup.
There's ingredients that go into soup. There's no ingredients in cereal. It's just milk and whatever the hell
Cereal.
product is. Yeah, there are actual ingredients that go into
cereal.
soup.
There's ingredients in the cereal.
God.
Milk and cereal.
That shit is just
It's
freaking like food dye and food coloring and like whatever processed shit that they make at their processed sugar. That's it. That's not ingredients.
There's probably more ingredients in cereal than it is in the actual good soup.
No, what? Are you serious,
No.
Kitty?
Because
with the
the
amount of like
cereal,
chemicals and
yeah.
shit they put
Oh
in
my
it,
God.
there probably is more stuff in there.
No, there's a recipe
than just
to
like
soup. Then there's
yeah.
no recipe for cereal. You can't make cereal, man. You need
Yeah, man.
you can make soup.
2/3
you can make
cereal,
soup,
1/3
You can
milk.
make soup at your home. Like you can get the gathered ingredients and create a recipe for soup at home. You can't make cereal at home. Like the actual process
now
of it.
I'm just gonna disprove you and make cereal at
no.
home
Oh, God.
and record it and actually
all
make
right,
that
I
But
would-
video.
it's gonna taste
Hey.
terrible.
Hey, I will eat that. I will eat
Oats.
crow if you make cereal and you actually record it. Something to get a video for your fans. I will do it as long as it gets
But
you
I-
making content. I'll be like, go ahead, make that cereal. I want to see these kiddios that you're gonna make it.
Kidios. Oh my god, I
Kidios.
can make them shapes of little cat ears.
Trademark it. Trademark.
Oh my god. That's so funny.
Oh,
Ah,
all right
okay.
then. I guess that'll do it for us this week. This has been
Now
Big
I'm
W
hungry.
Zan, joined by my friend Secret Kitty, Minister Ian Mazentius, the Gigolo Man. Not saying goodbye forever, just saying goodbye for now.